must have.
My name is Heiner SCHULZE. I'm a social scientist living in Berlin, and I'm also on the board of directors of the Schwules Museum, the queer museum here in Berlin. The Schwules Museum, which turns 40 this year in December, is the biggest institution for the documentation, preservation, as well as exhibiting on queer life, art, history in Europe, or maybe the whole world.
Ask yourself, do you really care? Question whose values you really share.
So Schwules Museum is pretty unique in that it tries to represent and document the lives of gender and sexual minorities. We are the biggest institution of that kind that we know of, one of the oldest, and we try to take the life and the work of queer people seriously, to give them opportunities to showcase their work and their lives. We also try to work with other institutions to help them to better represent queer experiences in queer life. That we also try to work intersectional by taking seriously that, you know, also queer people are not homogeneous, that there are also a wide variety of experiences inside of queer communities. And so, you know, it's not just one specific part of queer community, but by now we try to also show how there's a whole variety of experiences and take this seriously and work with all kinds of people. And even, you might even say, we are even straight friendly by, you know, also working with people who are not queer and maybe help them to get a better perspective and a little bit of look into queer artists, queer life, engage with them, have educational programs, empower queer people.
For there to be revolution, we must have evolution.
I think taking a look now at the exhibitions, for instance, we have on right now, you can see how there's a whole spectrum of work the museum does. So right now we have like 4 separate exhibitions in the museum. One is an art exhibition on art and experiences from Ukraine. So we also take a look at Ukrainian queer history and art, which is of like basically almost no one really ever thought of Ukraine and Eastern Europe as, of course, also.
Ask yourself, do you really care? Question whose values you really share.
At the same time, we have an exhibition on lesbian or feminist photographer Petra Gall, with some of the stuff we have in our own archive. So it's an archival exhibition. At the same time, it showcases some feminist and lesbian history, especially in Berlin.
For there to be revolution, we must have evolution.
Through these photographies, we have an exhibition, Love at First Sight, which is a little bit an exhibition on German queer history since 1969. So it's a little bit of an overview of different topics, of events, of issues which came up in the last, what is it, 50, 60 years.
Ask yourself, do you really care? Question whose values you really share.
And we have a little bit of a showcase again from archival material on one specific person, Meg Folks, which is this US American German transatlantic transatlantic life, a black man, a black queer man with a very outsized personality who has been, for instance, very instrumental in the development of Berlin as a electronic music capital, because he worked in a lot of places where, you know, Berlin's electronic music culture started to develop.
Ask yourself, do you really care? Question whose values